What started as a family project 4 years ago, following the death of my best friend and grandpa, Heartley Alden, has grown to what you are witnessing here today. It began in a farmhouse in rural Iowa, following my grandfather's passing. My mother and grandmother came up with the idea of turning his clothing into teddy bears for each family member to keep to remember him by. None of our family knew of the bears until the first Thanksgiving after his death. After our meal together, we were each given a bear made from the clothing we so fondly remembered him in. Of course, we were all in tears and began talking of the special places in our homes where our bears would go. Upon reflecting on just how neat this was, I shared the idea with our family here at the funeral home. And collectively, we knew we just had to find a way to share this with all the families we are honored to serve. And so, in honor of my grandpa, the Heartley Bear Project began. As of this morning, the Heartley Bear Project has created over 750 bears. Heartley Bears have been mailed with love as far away as Arizona and Ohio. Other funeral homes in the U.S. have started the Heartley Bear Project. In April of this year, we applied for the President's Volunteer Service Award on behalf of the Heartley Bear Project. Upon receiving our application and receiving the work of Heartley Bear Project, we received word this summer that we were accepted with honors.
It's just such a keepsake to have. It's just a wonderful keepsake.
We're creating a bear for my daughter, Haley, and actually we're creating 3 bears for her today, and we just picked out our favorite clothing and are putting it together as a family, so it's great. Like this one here has her a jean dress that she wore and then part of her bathrobe. So we just kind of pulled that together, and just some of her sparkly shirts and different things that kind of stand out. All of her clothing has just been in a bin, kind of stored. And so this actually brings that back into the house in a meaningful way. And so I'm sure we'll be setting them out, we'll be hugging them, we'll be loving them for a long time to come.
Both my daughters were actually very excited to do this project. My daughter Kaylee, who's 11 years old, is anxious to just have the bear in bed with her, and they're writing little special notes to Grandma. My 8-year-old Grace is putting in a little note as well, and that will be in their bear forever. So I believe it's "I love you, Grandma," and it's just a special memory to keep with them forever. It's fun because today she actually learned how to sew by these amazing volunteers here. I actually had her sew her own bear shut. And Grandma was a big sewer, so that's fun to know that she's actually has a little bit more of even that legacy going on as well. It's been a pretty special day, and these volunteers are like angels here, and the whole process has been wonderfully healing for the kids. It's fun. I was a little apprehensive and a little anxious. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect, and this has just been a wonderful experience for them. I'm just so thankful to everyone here on staff and all the volunteers that put this together for the kids to have this treasure.
I think we have anywhere from 35 to 40 families that come in, and a family may mean only one person comes in, or one and then some of the kids and things, some grandkids. So it's always neat to see all the multi-generational, people a part of it. Even the guys kind of help sewing and such. I kind of joke with them and say we should have had glue and a nail gun or something, or staple gun. Sometimes if you had a recent death, the emotions can be too raw, we've sensed. So we find ourselves, we send out invitations to the families that we've served. We put something in the paper. We rely on churches to hopefully put it in their bulletin to get the word out. But a lot of families just say, you know what, it's too difficult to walk in the doors and do this. I'm not quite ready. Yes, I'm grieving, but I'm not comfortable in that setting. We had a family today that loss has been, I think, for 4 or 5 years. Some people, when we first got this started, I think 3 years ago, we had a gal that had kept her clothing item of her mom, and she had died 27 years ago. She kept a bed sheet. We had another gal that had had a robe of her daughter, and I think she had been passed away for 14 years. And so this event came up. They never knew why they kept that clothing item, and we were able to repurpose that, and it was very, very meaningful for them. A volunteer does pretty much stay with one family at a time. The families kind of are set up with them. We have about 90 volunteers to call on. We have traditionally 35 to 40 volunteers that come in at once to volunteer at an event. So today I believe we've had like 13 or 14 sewers, and then we have other volunteers that are helping the families lay the fabric out in the pattern of the bear, to cut the bear out and kind of show the different parts that you can kind of uniquely cater to freshen up, like the end of the paw, making a collar on it, whatever, a little vest for the bear perhaps.
What are some of the ones that you can really remember that were unique?
Well, I made one out of fake fur that was quite fake fur and trimmed with fake leather.
Wow.
And that was so neat because it was a real good friend of mine. It was her aunt's. So that was really special. And then I made different ones. I made one time at home for somebody that couldn't come. And I made the bear, and I got done, and he looked so sad. And I thought, why is he looking so sad? And so I put a little smile on his face. I embroidered a smile. And then when I came back to up here to bring the bear up here, then I asked what the story was behind it. And the young man had committed suicide. And I thought, the smile on his face, and then it was like telling his parents, okay, I'm okay. I made for myself, I made for my family out of my husband's clothing. And I've got 2 on my Davenport, and I look at them all the time, and they're personalized with things of his tie tacks and different things. And so to me, I look at him and I look at the bear and I think of him. And that's been the response of a lot of people. They say they look at the bear and they think of their loved one. So it's just a wonderful keep, and you can hug it. When someone can't come to a workshop, then they ask some of us to make bears at home. And so I've done that. I've made them at home, and I've made many, many, many for my family and friends and that type of thing. So I can't even count the number of bears I've made. Many, many, many.
When they first started this, I was here.
Okay.
So I love it.
Wonderful. And what are some of the unique bears that you have made in the past? Any of them really stand out?
Yes. I made a bear for a little girl. She had her grandmother's sweatshirt, and on the front it had, I think it was birds or flowers on the sweatshirt. So I cut them out and put them on the front of the bear, and she was so happy. I think 6 times she came, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that one I always remember.
Okay.
That was one of the first ones I did.
Any really challenging ones?
Yes, slippery material. It slides and won't stay put, and fur is kind of a touchy one too.
Why do you think it's important for someone to get a Heartley Bear? What is the symbolism do you believe behind it?
It's a memory, and it can be passed down through the family, and every time they look at the bear, they remember that person.
Collectively, our volunteers have given over 2,500 hours of service to this project. Without these volunteers, this project would have been a one-time event. Their time, passion, and willingness to serve is what has given this project a life of its own. You will never know how much your talents have brought such joy to a family at one of the hardest times of their lives. You will never know how much you mean to those families when they hug the bear at night. But today you will know how much you mean to each of us, and personally, how much you mean to me that you have helped turn an idea from a farmhouse in rural Iowa into the nationally recognized project it is today.